What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So, look, a very big topic that's always been talked about in the black community is interracial dating and what people think about it. Me personally, I believe you should date whoever you want to date, right? No matter their ethnicity, date whoever you want to date. It's perfectly fine with me. I don't have no problem with it. You can love whoever you want to love. The only thing that I believe that black people have a responsibility to do is that when you do have if you were to have children with that other person of another ethnicity, it is very, very, very important to teach your children knowledge of self. And it's important to teach your child to be aware of their blackness and embrace it as well, for sure. Embrace that side, but be aware of it for real and know that other people are aware of it as well. I think you would do your children, your biracial children, a disservice by telling them that, hey, everything is all peaches and roses and everything is all good, and not teach them knowledge of self. Because they need to know how to navigate this world as a black person. For a fact, black is very dominant. So more than likely, if a black person has a child with a person of any other ethnicity, their skin is going to show that they're black. It's going to be obvious. For the most part, it's going to be obvious that they're mixed, for sure. And so other people will be aware that they're mixed. And unfortunately, it is what it is. People are going to feel a certain type of way about it. But there are certain things that black people face that not all groups of people face, that not all groups of people deal with. And we know that for a fact. So it's important to tell your children, your biracial children, hey, you got to be aware. You're a black man. You're a black woman. Yeah, I understand you are of mixed ethnicity for sure, but to certain groups of people out here, you black. To many groups of people out here, you black for sure. So you got to be aware and understanding how to have interactions with certain people in society. Need to be aware of even how to interact with law enforcement. Seriously. And I think that a lot of times when people come from biracial, when people come from when they are biracial children, when kids are biracial, sometimes they can grow up in, I'm just saying this, sometimes they can hypothetically grow up in a situation of affluence, and they can be far away from black people, far removed from black people all around. And they could be raised just around a whole bunch of different ethnicities, or the ethnicity of the person who is not black. And then those ideologies from that person comes into the child, right? And of course, the person should be aware of the other culture that's in their lineage for sure. But at the same time, other ethnicities believe things such as this: that law enforcement could never do any wrong. That, they're never wrong. They would never do anything that's the wrong thing. They always do the right thing, and they always stand up for what's right. Unfortunately, we know that's not true. And especially when it comes to people of color, black people in particular, for sure, we know that's not true. And if you don't teach your children those things, they'll go out into this world and just be unaware, be oblivious of how they could be treated by law enforcement or other people in society. And they won't be prepared for it. And they'll just be caught off guard and just totally caught up. Just caught off guard completely and don't know how to respond to it. And I think that's why I know that's why black parents that have biracial children should teach their kids knowledge of self. And also be proud of their blackness, embrace it. Don't shy away from it, no matter what. I don't believe when people have biracial children and they say the black people that say, I teach my kids to just don't recognize color. And no, teach them to recognize color. That's important to know. It's important to know. Yes, they should recognize their other culture as well, but they got to recognize that they black too. And they got to understand that. They got to understand the plight of black people. They got to understand things that black people deal with, and situations, and the historical facts. That is important. It's very important for young biracial kids to know, especially biracial kids that are mixed with black. They got to know these things. They got to know the things that black people have overcome, the things that black people are suffering from in the communities that they're far removed from, so that when they speak on topics involving black people, they don't say ignorant things. They don't say things that offend the black community. They're not insensitive to things regarding their own people, and they don't regurgitate the talking points of people that are racist towards their own people. They have to be aware of those things, because if not, they grow up in this society where they just in la la land and they just think everything is peaches and roses and everything is all good and everything is all smooth. They'll get in front of all these different people, in front of people of other ethnicities, and regurgitate racist stereotypes about black people. They'll say things that aren't true about black people. They'll say harmful things that are just very detrimental to the black community, because they don't have knowledge of self, and they're already around all these other people of other ethnicities, and they're just confirming all the racist stereotypes that other people may have, or they're just feeding into the rhetoric of other people without saying things to oppose it, or recognizing when to check other people about certain things regarding black people. I just think that's very important to be grounded in your culture as well. And so when you're a biracial children, to be grounded, and you can be grounded in the culture of your other lineage, but also be grounded in black culture as well, and understand it. Know what it means, and know about historical facts regarding your people, man. Because I have seen mixed children that have no identity of their black self at all. And I'm not saying you got to be walking around and you got to just have a certain lingo, a certain vernacular, or a certain type of swagger about yourself. I mean, they get in front of other people and just say things that are very harmful to the black community. They regurgitate talking points that are just so racist and so just so off base that they don't even understand that what they're saying is wrong, because they were raised, yes, they are biracial, but their parents did not teach them, their black parent did not teach them knowledge of self, and just let them go on and just act like, just let them just not be aware of their blackness, not be aware of their history, not be aware of things that are going on that are affecting their people in all these different neighborhoods is getting talked about. Right? The same black people that get up on TV, they could be biracial people that get on TV and just say all the black people doing in Chicago is killing each other, and just all type of just crazy stuff, and say things that are just very harmful to the black community, because they don't understand their own people. They don't understand their own people. They were never taught. They will never, inside of their homes, they were never really made aware of their blackness. They were never told to be proud in their blackness. They were never told to certain things about their people, and never to look down on your people, because never to look down on your people that live less than you, that don't have as much financially as you. They're not taught those things, so they're oblivious to stereotypes. And when people even just dog whistling at black people, it's important to teach your biracial children knowledge of self, black people. That's all. Peace.